The crash landing. Liam was fast asleep. His small room on the space station was dark, quiet, and peaceful. Just the soft hum of machines and blinking lights filled the air. Outside, deep space stretched forever, silent and cold. He turned in his bed and pulled the blanket over his shoulder. Suddenly, boom! The station shook hard. Liam shot up, wide-eyed. Another tremble. Lights flickered. A red warning flashed across the control screen. Collision detected. External breach, Sector C. He jumped out of bed, his heart raced. What the hell was that? He quickly put on his boots and rushed to the hallway. The station was quiet again, but something didn't feel right. He grabbed a scanner from the wall and headed toward Sector C, the outer docking area. The corridor was empty. The air was cold. Liam moved slowly, his scanner beeping softly. No signs of attack, he whispered. No pirate signal. No debris field. Then he saw it. A small metal pod had crashed into the wall, half buried into the docking bay door. Steam hissed from its sides. Alien markings glowed faintly on its hull. Liam stepped closer. Escape pod? He touched the side. It was warm. A handprint was pressed against the glass window. A small hand. Then suddenly the hatch opened with a hiss. And something, or someone, fell out. Right on top of him. Liam hit the floor hard, groaning. Whatever had landed on him was soft, but heavy. He opened his eyes and froze. A girl, or at least, something that looked like a girl. She had smooth violet-blue skin. Her eyes were large and silver. Her hair, long and glowing faintly, flowed like silk. Strange tattoos moved slightly, across her arms like living ink. She was breathing but weak, and she was lying across his chest, unconscious. Liam blinked. What are you? He slowly moved out from under her and checked her pulse. Still alive. Just barely. As he touched her arm, her eyes opened suddenly. She stared at him. Her lips trembled. Don't. Let them find me. Then she passed out. Liam didn't know what else to do. He picked her up and carried her back to his room. She was warm. Too warm. Like she was burning from the inside. He laid her on his bed and scanned her again. Unknown life form. Energy levels unstable. Body temperature rising. Great, he muttered. First alien girl I meet falls from the sky and dies on my bed. He activated the med unit and placed small healing pads on her forehead and chest. After a moment, her breathing calmed. She moved slightly in her sleep but didn't wake up. Liam sat down in his chair and stared at her. Who are you? He whispered. A few hours passed. Liam dozed off in his chair. He didn't hear her wake up. He didn't see her eyes open. She stood up slowly, wobbling. Then she looked around the room, alert, like someone on the run. She walked to his desk and checked the screen. She typed something fast in a strange alien language. The screen blinked red. Warning, restricted signal detected. She frowned. Then she looked at Liam and quietly walked toward him. He woke up with a start and gasped. She was standing right over him, her silver eyes watching closely, her face calm but unreadable. What are you doing? He asked. She didn't answer. She looked at him, then down at his chest. Then, without a word, she climbed onto the bed, laid down beside him, and pressed her forehead gently against his shoulder. Liam froze. Okay, seriously, he said, confused. Why do you keep falling on me? She closed her eyes. Her voice was soft. I had to make contact. It's how I stay alive. Before he could ask more, she was asleep again. The next morning she was still there. Liam lay stiff as a board. His arm had gone numb under her weight. Finally she sat up. He stared at her. You gonna explain what's going on now? She nodded. My name is Zariel. I escaped from something terrible. I didn't mean to crash into your station. She stood up and walked to the window, staring into the stars. I'm sorry I landed on you, but I had no choice. You were the only life form I could connect to. Liam rubbed his eyes. Connect? Zariel turned to him. I'm not just hiding, she said. I'm carrying something inside me, and now, you might be connected to it too. Liam frowned. What does that mean? She looked down, then said one word. Bonded. The unwelcome guest. Liam didn't sleep much after that night. He kept turning in his bed, thinking about the strange alien girl who had fallen from the sky, Zariel. She was now resting in the next room, his spare storage cabin, which she had completely taken over. He yawned and walked toward it with a cup of hot synth coffee in his hand. Before he could knock, the door locked automatically. Access denied, he blinked. Wait, what? He knocked. Zariel? You in there? No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. You locked me out of my own room? The door finally hissed open. Zariel stood there looking serious. Her hair was tied back, and her eyes glowed softly in the dim light. I needed to secure the space, she said. I couldn't take risks. Liam looked around and frowned. His neat storage room now looked like a mini alien lab. Wires hung from the ceiling. Strange glowing crystals floated above a small pad. His computer console had been modified. Half the interface now glowed in an alien language. She picked up a round device with blinking lights. What are you building? Liam asked. She didn't look up. Something to protect us. Protect us from what? She stopped, then slowly looked at him. From those who are hunting me. Liam rubbed his face. You still haven't told me what's going on. Zariel sighed. I know. But the less you know, the safer you are. He crossed his arms. Too late. You crash into my life, fall on me, sleep in my bed, hijack my equipment, and now you're talking about being hunted. I think I deserve a little more. She looked at him quietly for a moment, then said, I didn't fall on you by accident. Liam paused. What do you mean? I chose you. Before he could ask more, the station lights flickered. A warning blinked across the hallway monitor. Incoming signal. Long-range scan active. External ship within range. Liam ran to the control room. Zariel followed. He tapped the console. A hologram appeared. A strange ship, black and sharp, slowly circling the edge of the asteroid field. Liam narrowed his eyes. That doesn't look friendly. Zariel leaned closer. Her face turned pale. It's one of theirs, she whispered. Who? My people. Liam stared at her. Your own people are trying to find you? Zariel nodded. Yes. And if they do, you won't survive. Liam's chest tightened. That's not good to hear. Zariel began typing something into the console using her strange symbols. She locked down the station signals and closed all windows with shielding metal plates. You can't let them scan you, she said. They don't care who you are. If they know I made contact with you, they'll erase you too. Liam swallowed hard. Erase me? As in, delete? She nodded. Later that night, Liam checked the station logs. He found something strange. A message, hidden deep in the system. It was addressed to him. Human. Do not trust the girl. She is not what she says. His eyes widened. The message had no sender ID. He looked over his shoulder. Zariel stood in the hallway watching him. The next day, things got stranger. Zariel barely spoke. She spent most of her time building and scanning. Her eyes followed Liam wherever he went. He caught her watching him sleep twice. She even moved her resting spot to the couch in his room. He finally asked, Why are you so close to me all the time? She replied quietly, Because you were chosen for the bond. You are now part of the process. What process? He asked. She only said, You'll feel it soon. Liam didn't like the sound of that. He turned off the lights that night and lay in bed staring at the ceiling. What was he caught in? Was Zariel telling the truth? Or was he just a target? He slowly fell asleep, only to wake up in the middle of the night, to find Zariel standing over him again. This time her hand glowing softly as she touched his forehead. "Just a little longer," she whispered. "Then I'll explain everything." Hunted by her own. Liam couldn't stop thinking about the strange message. Do not trust the girl. She is not what she says. He had read it again and again. The words were short, but heavy. He sat at his work desk, staring at the screen, while Zariel slept on the couch behind him. Her breathing was soft. Her hands were glowing faintly. Her skin shimmered in the low light. She looked peaceful, but the message burned in his mind like fire. He tapped the keyboard and opened the signal. Logs. Someone had sent the message directly to his station, from inside the system. He checked the source. It was sent from the station's old antenna array, but he hadn't used that in months. The next morning, Liam walked to the antenna room. Dust floated in the air. Old machines blinked slowly, like they were still half awake. He opened the control panel and froze. There were fresh wires connected to a hidden transmitter, one that he didn't install. He pulled them out carefully and followed the cable. It led to a small round device taped to the wall, a tracking beacon. His chest tightened. Someone had marked his station. He rushed back to Zariel. She was awake, sitting cross-legged, meditating with her eyes closed. He dropped the beacon on the floor, in front of her. "Care to explain what this is?" She opened her eyes slowly. Her face didn't change. "It's a tracker." "You put it there?" She shook her head. "No. They did." "Who's they, Zariel?" She stood up. Her voice was quiet. "The ones who made me. The ones who sent me here." Liam stepped back. "You mean your own people?" Zariel nodded. "They want me back. Not because they care, but because I carry something they lost." Liam crossed his arms. "And you're just now telling me this?" "I was afraid," she said. "Of me?" She looked into his eyes. "Of what you'd do when you found out." Suddenly, an alarm rang out through the station. "External ship approaching. Speed, high. ID, unknown." Liam and Zariel ran to the control room. He tapped the console. A small dark ship appeared on the screen, spinning fast toward them. No signals, no lights, just silent approach. Zariel's face turned pale. "That's them." "Are you sure?" "They don't knock." Liam activated the station's defense shields. Zariel walked toward the main door and began drawing strange glowing lines with her fingers. They floated in the air, forming symbols that looked like magic. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Locking the place down with energy barriers." "Since when can you do that?" She looked at him. "Since always. I wasn't made to fight with guns. I was made to survive." Outside the station, the ship stopped. It didn't fire. It didn't send a signal. It just waited. "They're scanning us," Zariel said. "They want to know how strong I am, and if the bond has started." Liam frowned. "The bond?" Zariel turned to him. "That night when I fell on you, I linked with your life force. The connection is real. My energy and yours are now mixed." His heart skipped. "What does that mean?" She looked sad. "It means, if they take me, they'll kill you too." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the back hall. Liam grabbed a metal rod. "What was that?" Zariel raised her hand, glowing. "They're here." They ran to the lower bay and found the door wide open. Inside, smoke filled the air. A symbol had been burned into the wall with some kind of plasma torch. It glowed red and pulsed like a heartbeat. Liam stared at it. It was a warning. Zariel touched the wall gently. "This symbol means, you belong to us." Back in the control room, Liam sat down hard. "This is insane," he said. "I was just fixing power cores and cleaning filters a few days ago." Zariel stood beside him. "You still can walk away," she said. "I'll go. I'll lead them away." Liam looked up. No. She blinked. I'm already part of this, he said. And maybe I don't understand the bond or energy or alien symbols, but I'm not letting you face them alone. Zariel looked at him surprised. Then for the first time she smiled, just a little. Outside, the dark ship slowly turned away and flew off. But they both knew it would be back. Stronger. Next time. With more. The body bond. Liam sat in the corner of the control room, his head in his hands. The strange black ship had left, but only for now. He could feel it. The danger hadn't passed. It had only stepped back to strike harder. Zariel stood by the window, silent, her silver eyes watching the stars. Liam finally spoke. You said we're connected. What does that even mean? She turned slowly. I bonded with you. Physically. Energetically. It's part of my biology. Right, Liam said, standing up. You keep saying bond. But what is the bond? And why me? She walked over and sat across from him. Let me explain everything, finally. Zariel took a breath. In my species, survival is not just about strength. It's about merging. Merging? Liam asked. Our life energy is unstable. If we're far from our homeworld, our energy fades. So we must connect, link our bodies and systems to another life form that can stabilize us. Liam blinked. So, that's why you slept so close to me. She nodded. It wasn't about comfort, it was necessary. That first night I had already used most of my energy escaping. I was dying. Liam remembered how cold her body had been, how weak she looked when she collapsed. You touched my chest, he said. You called it contact. Yes. When my forehead touched your shoulder, my system read your biosignals. Your body was strong, your mind stable. I initiated a body bond. Liam took a step back. So, am I infected now? Zariel smiled softly. No, not infected. More like shared. Shared? She stood. Her fingers glowed faintly as she touched his arm. You and I, our bodies are now linked by a thread of life. When I grow weak, your energy keeps me alive. And in return you gain small parts of my ability. Healing, protection, even sensing danger. Liam stared at her hand. And if the bond breaks? Her voice turned serious. If we're separated for too long, I die. And now, so do you. He stepped back again, trying to breathe. So I'm stuck? Zariel looked hurt. Not stuck. Chosen. I didn't pick you at random, Liam. I scanned dozens of systems from my pod. Yours was the only one that responded with stability. I'm just a mechanic. You're more than that. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Liam asked quietly, Why are they chasing you? Zariel's face darkened. Because I wasn't supposed to bond with anyone. What? I was designed by my people to carry something. A code. A living map stored in my DNA. I was just a container to them. Nothing more. Liam clenched his fists. And when you bonded with... Firakubi nodded. The code began to spread. Now it's inside both of us. Outside, the stars flickered. A small red light blinked on the console. Zariel rushed over. Another long-range scan. Liam checked the data. Not from the black ship. This one's different. She looked over his shoulder. That's not a hunter ship, it's a seeker. One of the old rebel beacons, they're trying to help. Liam leaned closer. Can they break the bond? Zariel looked at him seriously. No, but they might help us survive it. That night Liam couldn't sleep. He kept remembering the feeling of her energy flowing through him. How every time she touched him, his skin tingled. How his wounds healed faster. How his thoughts were clearer. He looked across the room. Zariel was sitting quietly, cross-legged, eyes closed in meditation. He walked over and sat beside her. I'm scared, he said. She opened her eyes and nodded. So am I. But I don't want to run anymore. She smiled. Then we fight. As the seeker beacon blinked brighter, Liam placed his hand over his chest. Something glowed under his skin. A soft blue mark, the same pattern as the tattoos, on Zariel's arms. He stared at it in shock. What is this? Zariel looked calmly at him. The bond is growing. And now, the code is waking up. Escape plan. The station was quiet. Too quiet. Liam opened his eyes slowly. The lights in his room were dim. A soft alarm was blinking red on the console. Warning. Auto-destruct countdown. 7 minutes remaining. His eyes flew open. What? He jumped out of bed, ran to the control panel and tapped the keys. Zariel had been there when he went to sleep. She had sat next to him, holding his hand, her head resting gently on his shoulder. But now, she was gone. He opened every file on the system. Auto-destruct triggered from manual override. Origin, Launch Bay Terminal. Liam's heart pounded. Why would she do this? He ran down the hallway toward the launch bay. Smoke filled the air near the docking tunnel. One of the old emergency pods had been activated, fuel systems blinking, hatch open. Zariel wasn't inside, but she had left something behind. Her necklace, a small glowing ring with alien symbols. A short message played from its surface. Liam. I'm sorry, I had to go alone. They're tracking both of us now, but if I leave, maybe you'll be safe. I set the countdown so you'd run. Please survive. Please forget me. Liam stood frozen, fists clenched. He didn't want to forget her. Not now. Not after everything. He looked at the auto-destruct timer. Minutes left. No, he whispered. I'm not letting her do this alone. He grabbed the emergency toolkit, threw on his jacket, and ran to the pod control panel. The beacon logs were open. Zariel had sent one last signal to the edge of the asteroid field. Liam tapped into it, a Abrei trail of coordinates. It was a trap, he could tell, but it was also her trail. Minutes. Liam raced through the station toward the outer launch pod, a small escape vehicle barely big enough for one person. The engine was cold, but it would fly. He pulled open the access door, started the ignition manually. The system flickered. No destination locked, manual override only. He smiled. Then we fly blind. For minutes. Liam looked at the console one last time, the home he built, the room where he met Zariel, the couch she meditated on, the window they stared through together. He hit the launch button. The pod blasted free, just as the station behind him exploded in a slow blue-white light, silent, cold, and final. Deep in space, he followed the signal trail. It led through thick debris fields and strange energy waves. His pod shook, sparks flew, but the mark on his chest, the glowing blue bond, burned, brighter the closer he got, and then he saw it. A small drifting cargo pod, half damaged, floating in the dark. Zariel's signal was coming from inside. Liam connected to it with a cable and climbed across. Inside, he found her lying on the floor, weak, eyes closed. She had passed out. Her breathing was shallow. Liam rushed to her and pulled her close. Her skin was freezing. Zariel, wake up! Nothing. He closed his eyes, placed his forehead gently against hers, just like she had done to him on that first night. The glow on his chest pulsed. The blue marks lit up across her arms. She gasped and opened her eyes. Liam, she whispered. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I told you. We fight together. She smiled faintly. I tried to protect you. You did, he said. But now we protect each other. Suddenly the pod rocked hard. An enemy ship had locked onto them. They had followed the same signal. Zariel's eyes filled with fear. We can't outrun them. Liam looked at the nav screen. But we can go where they can't. He entered. Emergency warp coordinates. Zariel grabbed his hand. Where are we going? He smiled. To someone who still remembers what freedom means. The pod vanished into deep space, leaving behind nothing but stars. The truth inside. The escape pod floated through deep space, silent and dark. Inside, Liam watched over Zariel as she lay on the small floor mat, her breathing slow, her skin glowing faintly blue under the soft lights. They had escaped death again, but now questions pressed hard on Liam's chest. He sat beside her, holding a scanner. It showed something strange. A glowing shape deep inside her body moving slowly like it was alive. A shape made of energy. A code. Zariel opened her eyes. She was weak, but awake. "Where are we?" she whispered. Liam showed her the map. Floating, between systems, hiding behind a dead moon. She nodded slowly. "Good. They can't scan us here?" Liam stared at her. "Zariel, it's time. No more half-truths. No more secrets." She didn't look away. She nodded again. "You deserve to know." She sat up with effort and placed her hand on her chest. "There's something inside me," she said. "Not a machine, not just data, something older." "Older than what?" "Older than my people. Older than Earth." Liam frowned. "A living code?" "Yes," she said. "A map, a voice, a memory from a race long gone. They called it the spark of return." He blinked. "Return to what?" "To the place all life came from." Zariel leaned against the wall, her energy fading. "My creators, my people, they found part of the spark hidden in old ruins. They couldn't understand it, so they built me, a living body that could carry it, a container." "But you ran," Liam said. She nodded. "Because I was never meant to live freely. They treated me like a tool, a ship with no soul." Her voice shook. "But the spark inside me, it changed. It became something more. It wanted freedom. It wanted to grow." Liam remembered the moment she first touched him. The strange glow, the heat, the words in her sleep. "And it reached out to me," he whispered. Zariel looked into his eyes. "Yes. And now it lives in both of us." He showed her the scan. The mark on his chest. The sparks spreading. She smiled. "You're not just bonded to me anymore. You're carrying part of it now. That's why they'll never stop chasing us." Liam sat back. His heart pounded. "Then what do we do?" Zariel's eyes turned serious. "We find the others." "What others?" She closed her eyes. "I'm not the only one. There were more like me. Secret projects, hidden across the stars." She opened a small metal chip and placed it in Liam's hand. "This is the key to the next one." Suddenly the pod rocked. An alert flashed on the screen. "Stealth drone detected. Nearby." Liam cursed. "They found us." "No," Zariel said. "Not them. It's one of ours." "Ours." She limped to the console and typed fast. A soft blue signal lit up. Moments later, a ship uncloaked nearby, sleek, dark blue, with the symbol of a broken circle on its hull. Zariel smiled. "It's the rebellion." They docked. Inside the rebel ship, a woman with red cybernetic eyes greeted them. Her voice was strong. "You're the spark bearer?" Zariel nodded. Liam stepped forward. "We both are now." The woman scanned them and stepped back, surprised. "You fused the code with a human?" Zariel nodded. "It wasn't forced. It chose him." The woman looked at Liam. "Then he's not just bonded," she said. "He's activated." Liam raised an eyebrow. "What does that mean?" The woman turned to Zariel. "It means the galaxy's sleeping weapon has just woken up. And now the hunters, they'll bring their full army." Back in the ship's chamber, Liam and Zariel sat alone. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," he said. She smiled softly. "No one ever is." He looked at her hand, then reached for it. "Whatever comes next, I'm not letting go." She nodded. "Then we stand together." And above them, far across the galaxy, a massive warship activated. Lights blinked, a voice whispered from deep inside. Target located. Begin final hunt. She fell on me and changed everything. The rebel ship drifted in silent orbit above a dead star. Inside, tension filled the air. Liam stood beside Zariel in the command chamber. Behind them, rebel leaders studied maps, warship paths, and incoming signals. The largest enemy fleet ever recorded was moving toward them, and it was coming fast. Zariel pressed her hand to the glowing wall. The spark inside her pulsed. So did the mark on Liam's chest. "They're close," she said. "How long do we have?" Liam asked. The rebel captain, a tall woman with steel-gray skin and a calm voice, answered. "Less than 1 hour." In the quiet before the storm, Zariel and Liam sat together in the engine bay. "You know," he said with a small laugh, "you really did fall on me out of nowhere." She smiled softly. "And now you're carrying part of my soul." He looked at her hand. "I didn't expect any of this. I was just fixing machines, drinking cold coffee, sleeping alone." She touched his cheek. "Now we sleep together, fight together, and maybe live or die together." He nodded, and they held hands, fingers glowing faintly blue. The alarm blared. "Enemy fleet entering visual range." Zariel stood tall. "It's time." Liam followed her to the bridge. Dozens of dark warships approached, led by the flagship of the Hunters, its massive shadow covering entire parts of space. A voice echoed through every channel. "Surrender the spark, or be erased." Zariel stepped forward. "This spark is not yours, it never was." Liam joined her. "And if you want it, come take it." The battle began. Fighter ships swirled through space. Lasers and missiles lit up the stars. Inside the rebel ship, shields held, barely. Liam and Zariel ran to the heart of the vessel, a room built to activate the spark fully. They placed their hands on a crystal sphere in the center. Energy surged. Their bodies glowed. Suddenly, a burst of blue light exploded outward, disabling enemy systems, but it wasn't enough. The flagship charged its main weapon. "This is it," Liam said. Zariel nodded. "We give everything." They joined hands again, closed their eyes, and poured every piece of themselves into the spark. The mark on Liam's chest burned bright. Zariel's tattoos lit up like a star. The ship trembled, the enemy fired, and then, boom, a flash so bright it blinded every sensor. Then, silence. When the light faded, the enemy fleet was gone. Where the flagship had been, only dust remained. Inside the rebel ship, everyone stood still, shocked. Then the sensors came back online. Spark stabilized. Code released. The ship's AI spoke. "A new signal has been sent across the stars. The others will hear it. The sleeping sparks will awaken." Liam opened his eyes. Zariel was in his arms, weak but breathing. "You did it," he whispered. She smiled faintly. "We did." The weeks passed. The story of the bond spread across star systems. Some feared it. Others believed in it. More spark bearers came forward, beings like Zariel hidden for years. A new movement began, one of peace, not control, of connection, not war. At its center stood two names: Liam, the human spark; Zariel, the first flame. And, sometimes on quiet nights, Liam would lie on his bunk, close his eyes, and feel the soft warmth of her body beside his. The girl who had fallen on him while he slept had changed everything. Forever.